Hi Aquarius, this is your forecast for the month of December 2018. This is a general reading for Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Rising, or Aquarius Moon. For a more rounded overview, please watch your rising and moon sign as well. So Aquarius, this first week you have the Star card, a major card, and it could be representative of you. It has strong ties to Aquarius. For some of you, this is going to represent perhaps a female child or a young woman, or perhaps you're connecting to somebody who works with the stars, an astrologer, a mystic. In other cases, this is about finding some form of healing or connecting to a healing agency. You may be seeking assistance, or you may be rendering aid for someone else. It could be that you're focused on healing in some way. You're getting in touch with your emotions, your intuitive self. And for some of you, this is going to be a creative week where you tap into the well of inspiration to come up with ideas. You may be developing some type of latent or creative talent or skill that you have. For others of you, you're trying to solve some mystery. You're trying to get an answer to the bottom of something. Perhaps there's a secret that may be revealed. Others of you, again, you're focused on feeling emotionally refreshed, feeling your emotions. And in some cases, you may feel a little uncomfortable with that. You may feel vulnerable, as if, you're out in the open. And so that may be a little unsettling for you. In fact, this is a period where you could be dealing with some circumstances where there's some uncertainty, you're uncomfortable, maybe you're dealing with something distressing, and you're having to draw on your faith and your belief in self. And this is a time to be optimistic and to allow your intuitive self to guide you, to get that inner guidance, because you are being protected and given some guidance from above. So it's a time to have faith, to have trust. You may be, again, seeking comfort or relief, or you may be offering that to others. You want to restore an area of your life. And you may be doing that by expanding yourself through some form of knowledge, whether that's creative or it's occult knowledge or just understanding. So you could be learning something, getting an education about something, or discovering the truth from some kind of secret. And this could be a period where you're very focused on your future, what's ahead for you. Although you're probably not sure, maybe something is not solid right now, and you're having to rely on your faith that you're being guided in the right direction. And you most likely are. You're in a transition stage where something big may be on the horizon, and yet you're not able to put a name to it yet. And so you're very intuitive about your connections to others as well. And your ability to believe in yourself, even though you may be dealing with something unsettling or uncertain, is going to carry the day, because there's an opportunity being given to you to make some kind of leap of consciousness, to develop in some way personally, or to create some kind of mutual achievement. Now, you may be doing this by exploring travel, whether that is metaphorically or this is some kind of literal trip that you're taking. You are expanding yourself, and you may be pushing the boundaries of that positively or negatively. It could be that you need to try something new, because this is a card of possibilities. And you are being challenged in some way. You are having to look at previously held beliefs, ideas, concepts, and rethinking those. And again, you may be dealing with a trying situation where you're having to look at the good that's going to come from it. You're having to find that positive kernel, the essence, the lesson, the gift that may be part of a negative situation. It's also a week where your perception and intuition is going to be important. You may be overwhelmed with your emotions and thinking that you're making intuitive choices. You may be mistaken about where to place your faith and who to put your faith in. And so this overabundance of emotion could make you miss the mark in some way. For some of you, there's some pessimism. Maybe there's some pride, and you refuse to accept help that's offered, or you have difficulty placing your faith in the future. There's some unjustified pessimism, or perhaps something has happened where you didn't get what you wanted. Your hopes are unfulfilled. There's been some kind of delay or missed opportunity. And you may be dealing with health issues, or you may be dealing with trust issues, or some self-doubt, or maybe you're not listening to your spiritual guidance or intuition. Maybe you're having some problems with education in some way. So you are being challenged. And your faith in yourself, other people, something that you've come to believe is going to be tested. And so you're going to have to throw out your preconceived notions and open yourself to new possibilities, because that's where the reward, that's where the gift is. And it may look very different than how you had painted the picture. Now, the second week, you may be feeling some anxiety. This may be about you having to heal from something. Maybe you are trying to heal from an illness, or maybe you're worried you can't sleep, or you're facing surgery, or you're dealing with somebody who's in some kind of pain. For some of you, maybe you're having some feminine health issues, or you're dealing with some negative news about somebody, or maybe your mind is just getting carried away with you. You're worried about the future and you're imagining the worst. So some of you may be experiencing some form of stress or depression. It could be you're experiencing some kind of pain or sorrow. You may be in anguish about something. You may even feel guilt about something that has occurred. So you're dealing with your doubts. There's something that you want, you've envisioned. Maybe it ties to your dreams, something that's important to you, or someone that's important to you. And yet you're having to face perhaps the truth of a situation. Now, remember, the star card says you could easily deceive yourself and misplace your faith. And maybe because you want something to play out a particular way, this is a focus on your desire. You may be tempted toward something or someone, or there could be issues of, you may be seduced by somebody who's very attractive, or vice versa. It could be there's some unexpected encounters that occur. But by the end of it, you are, going over and over with the conversation, the dialogue. Should you have said this? Should you have done that? But that worry is not actually advancing you. It's creating some harm, both emotionally and physically. It's taking a toll on you. So the second week, it may be a good idea to step back from a situation in order to recharge your perspective and again, open up to some other possibilities. Because for some of you, you are limiting yourself. There are more options available, but you've closed off to them. Maybe again, pride. You don't want to, accept help, or you're not listening to your intuition, or your emotions get in the way, or based on a principle, you feel like you have to stick to a certain course of action. So for some of you, this is about worry, about options, about possibilities, about the future. Maybe you're, again, concerned about somebody, and you want to step in there and make their decisions for them or fight a battle, but you're going to have to step back and let them live their own life. Let them have the freedom to create the future that they envision. For some of you, this is about, again, this wanting to be with something or wanting to have something so badly. Maybe those desires are thwarted. And you'll have to consider that perhaps getting what you want or getting who you want without taking note of the consequences could be something that's not good for you. Now, the third week, you have the Temperance card. So for some of you, there may be a tie to a Sagittarius. For others of you, this is about, again, connecting to some kind of healer, whether spiritual or emotional or physical. You're looking for some protection. Others of you, again, you may be developing your talents. You're worried or you're anxious to do that. This may be about your creativity, your artistic skills, finding the right balance, perhaps finding what will appeal to your audience. It could be that, you're doing something simple like cooking or creating in some way. Maybe this is about the right dosage if you are suffering from some kind of illness, or the right medication, or connecting to the right healer. For others of you, this is about, finding the balance between you and another person, or striking that right balance emotionally within yourself. Some of you, maybe you're involved in some kind of mediation or counseling. You're having to look at compromise and self-restraint. So this is a week to be moderate, and perhaps you're worried about doing something too much. Now, maybe this may have to do with things that, maybe water, some situation where maybe you're dealing with inclement weather or issues connected to water. Others of you, maybe this has to do with drinking, serving others in some way. So this is going to be a week where you try to find the middle ground, and it may require that you have a discussion that perhaps you don't want to, perhaps a discussion that is coming up in the future or about the future, and it's causing you some kind of anxiety. You could be discussing, an issue that's causing you anxiety, or perhaps you feel hesitant about having this conversation. But this is a week to get down to brass tacks and have a talk, to compromise in some area where perhaps, you found an issue of contention. You're going to have to agree to disagree, and you're going to have to do it in a way where you don't jeopardize a relationship that's important to you, or where you feel or others feel that you are criticizing them or judging them or pushing them. Because remember, the Nine of Swords says you may be trying to make choices for others when in fact you have to allow them to make choices for themselves, or someone could be, trying to direct your life. So this is a week to clear the air. Now, for some of you, you're going to be tempted to stay in a situation or chained to a person or circumstance because you're selling yourself on the idea that it's helpful, it's good for you, it's good for them, when in fact it's wearing on you in some way because it's a bad situation. Maybe it's just a habit, an excuse that it's your go-to. Or for some of you, you're worried about finding what is appropriate for you as far as your creative skills or your talents. Maybe you've been taking your talents for granted. For others of you, this is definitely focused on healing. It may be difficult for you to relax. You may have difficulty sleeping. You could be dealing with rashes or something annoying. It's a time, though, to draw on that, again, that well of inspiration. Your dreams may be very cognitive. Maybe they're keeping you up. Maybe you are foreseeing the future in your dreams. And they may be difficult for you to decipher or interpret, and maybe they're troubling. Or for others of you, you're not on point. You're distracted more so than usual. It's difficult for you to focus on what you need to. And so you could be impulsively doing something, because the Temperance card says you could be acting in extremes. Maybe you step out there and you say something that you later regret, or you move in a direction that's not good for you, or you go too far with something. Maybe you purchase something and you end up regretting it. And by the end of it, it could be that, they're unfounded fears. You've set the gold standard so high for yourself, but nobody else was really expecting that. There is a secretive element. Maybe there's an exchange of emotions. Maybe there's something that you're not seeing, or either something that you're hiding. And it could be that this is something that needs to come to the light. The stars need to shine on this issue that's been causing you some worry. And perhaps it's tied to your past in some way. So this is going to be a week where proper timing is important, and it may be causing you some anxiety. What is the right time to do something? You may have to compromise with others, or maybe you have to, because there's a secretive element, maybe you have to act with discretion with something. You could be getting an estimate on something. Maybe you are trying to, see what something costs, or you're having to accommodate or adapt to some changes. The Star card says you have to open up to new possibilities. So for some of you, you are perhaps looking at where you're compatible with others and you may have to reconcile in some way, or the balance of a creative, or artistic endeavor. But this is a week of cooperation. But again, looking at where you place your faith and who you connect to. So, maybe you're forcing a situation, or there's been something inappropriate and you need to, restore the balance to your mind, to your emotions. Maybe you're having some mood swings and you feel unsettled about the future. So you have to find the balance this week. Now, the last week you have the Magician card. And so ultimately, you may not have a lot of control over circumstances this month. In fact, you have 3 major cards, which says that this is going to be an especially emotionally or spiritually significant month for you. For some of you, there's a connection to a Gemini person. But for others of you, this represents a male figure. Could be a son, a brother, a boyfriend, your husband, somebody that you connect to that has some kind of special skill or knowledge or expertise. It could be you trying to gain mastery over something, your own talents, your own abilities, your own resources. So for some of you, maybe there's a focus on financial issues and where maybe you're being excessive or you're worried about going too far and the choices that people are making. Or maybe this is about your ability to create something, that again strikes a chord with the masses. This is about using your will and your energy to achieve a goal. So you will be making decisions this last week, and it's going to be important that you have confidence in your own ability and that you're self-determined, that you are an initiator of opportunity, because it's going to show up and you're going to need to be ready. So helping yourself is the key this week, and applying your focus constructively so that you don't undermine your progress. And if you do that, you may get some recognition or reward for your efforts, for your services, for your achievements, especially because you are self-reliant. You recognize that it's you who creates your own success. Again, you could have some unfounded fears that what you're building, as wonderful as it may be, is not something that's lasting, and that may cause you some anxiety. So this is a week where you may be trying something and opening up to new possibilities. You're trying to solve a problem, get an answer, achieve a goal, and it may mean that at some point, you take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's a trial and error situation where you're trying to hit the mark. Others of you, you're getting some kind of medical expertise or help with technology or some kind of artistic guidance. But for some of you, you're worried. There's some creativity that's been blocked, or you have difficulty making a decision because you can't see things for what they really are. It could be blind faith that you're operating in, or you're putting your energy or your resources into efforts that are unrealistic. So you end up making some mistakes due to your overconfidence or a lack of confidence, or not using your talents properly. For some of you, maybe there's some kind of manipulation taking place that affects your confidence, affects your sexuality. Maybe somebody is selfish. So this is a week where you have to be careful, because the Magician is about number 1. So you could be acting in ways where you're impatient or you get angry and you undercut the goal that you set out for yourself, specifically because you were too self-oriented and you didn't have regard for other people, their advice, their opinions, their assistance. For some of you, though, you're dealing with a negative situation where somebody may be taking advantage. You're dealing with somebody who is not what they appear to be, and they're manipulating in order to gain advantage or power. The Magician is a trickster. And so you could be dealing with people who are lying or abusing their power or screwing something up. They don't have the skill or knowledge that they need. So for some of you, you have to be careful. You do have the ability to create some harmony. For some of you, things are going to fall into place. It's the end of a struggle because you have made a decision. But for others of you, you need to find that balance. There's some excessive worry about the future, and you need to seek some kind of peace. Now, the underlying energy is this Ace of Wands. There's a new beginning taking place with regard to your desires, your ambitions, some action, some energy. This could be the spark, the new beginning of something. You're planting the seeds. And if this has to do with the relationship, you're trying to see if you're compatible, and maybe you're powerfully attracted to somebody. Maybe there's some sexual charisma and magnetism taking place. But this is also energy that has to be acted on. It's fire energy. So this is about the here and the now, being in the moment. There are going to be some sudden changes that take place where you do gain a new perspective. You have a eureka moment where clarity hits you and you realize that you're better prepared to deal with the situation, or better off walking away from something than you had expected. So there's some dramatic changes in the way you see yourself and your circumstances that are either going to improve you as far as your emotional connections, or you're going to feel the need to close off in some way. For some of you, there's been some kind of boost to your ego, to your pocketbook, where you feel more secure. Now you want to connect to others because you've got a financial base to work with. Or you have an opportunity to improve perhaps the lives of those you care about because you have some kind of opportunity or financial situation. You are going to be trying to solve problems, make decisions, achieve a goal, and you may be doing some inquiries that yield some results for you. Maybe you're meeting new people, planting new seeds. Maybe current relationships are evolving in some way. You're getting some insights that can help you. Negatively, though, some of you are worried because your relationship is at risk. There could be circumstances outside of you that are impacting your relationship. Maybe you're having to deal with the problems of other people. Maybe you make poor choices about who you put your faith in, and you start a relationship that is not worthy of your energy or effort. It could be that you're going to close off and end something, and perhaps it ends suddenly, and neither of you had expected that to occur. So this is about the strength of your abilities, your confidence, your power to achieve a goal. And for some of you, you're going to feel very powerful. Your esteem is going to be higher, and you're going to be motivated to fearlessly take some action. But for others of you, there's a need to find the balance in a situation. Now, for some of you, this is having to do with perhaps your image. Maybe you want to change your appearance or how you're seen or your reputation, what you put out into the world. And so you may be working on something that impacts your long-range goals, your destiny. And it may tie to your desires, your wishes, your hopes, your dreams, and career rewards. It also ties into your creativity and perhaps the resources that you share with others. Maybe, business resources. It could be, your children, how you express yourself, and the rewards that you get for that. So you're going to be taking an older matter up to the next notch, or you're going to start something new. But whatever it is, it's likely to unfold very quickly. And it has to do with, again, your ambitions, some changes taking place, and you tying up some loose ends. You are changing your perspective, you're broadening your horizons, and there's something that you want to achieve. So your endurance level, whether you're procrastinating, whether you are being excessive in some way, and whether you're taking the initiative to avail yourself of opportunity is going to be important. There are some questions from the past that are now influencing your present situation. So positively, you have drive, ambition, and mental focus, not just to see the bigger picture, but also to execute any kind of plans that you desire with precision, But on the other hand, there's also some ruthlessness. And this is a period where it's time for you to stop talking. It's time to walk your talk. Stop the talking, the planning. It's time to start doing. There's some mental brilliance that you have occurring. You're ready to step up to the plate with something. There's some ideas that need to be shared. And you're expecting to put those out there. So for some of you, it may involve connecting to investors or business people who can offer you some help. They may be listening to both sides of an issue before making a decision, the final decision. Maybe you're connecting with a decision maker in general. Maybe you're gaining a position of authority, or there's the ability to change other people's lives in some way. Your challenge number is the number 9, meaning that you're going to be more busy with the concerns of number 9. It's going to be an active period for you. Your resolutions are going to take more time related to the number 9, and it has more bearing on your future. So, you're in the final results for development through some kind of challenging situation. It's a highly significant period, and it reveals how your choices now are the result of previous choices you've made in the past. All right, Aquarius, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Let me know with your comments, and don't forget to subscribe. You can also support me on Patreon, join me on my blog for daily posts, on Instagram, over at Vimeo, and of course, you can always book a personal reading at thealchemistastrologer.com.